I'm a massive Doctor Who fan. I collect all sorts of figures, DVDs and collectibles. However, I think that the Great Doctor has never had just one thing. He's never had a truly good computer game. The 80s seen a lot of unofficial games, and there was an Amiga version released in the early 90s, but since then, New Who came out and there have been a couple of games released, and here's one of them. Today, we're going to be looking at Doctor Who Return to Earth on the Wii. The game was developed under licensed in the UK by the company Asylum Entertainment. Released in 2010, it was the second of two Doctor Who games released on the Wii after the god-awful Doctor Who Top Trumps. The game's script was written by Doctor Who writer Ollie Smith and even stars the Doctor and companion of the time, the 11th incarnation, Matt Smith and Karen Gillan. Upon loading the game, you were treated to a very familiar sequence. Now this all looks good so far, so let's get into the game. The game sees you use the Wiimote and Nunchuck in conjunction to control either the Doctor or Amy to solve the puzzles, shoot the sonic or laser beams and continue through the chapters. The voice acting is okay, I suppose it gets by, and Matt, now I might be biased in saying this since he's my favourite Doctor, is as amazing as always.
I managed to jump clear in time, but the TARDIS is gone. Oh, it's okay, I can see it. It's floating not too far away.
With Amy pitching in with dialogue here or there.
Absolutely about this before we panic.
The in-game music is straight from the show and it sets the atmosphere very well. So the plot sees the Doctor and Amy land on the starship the Lacy Grey, deserted and floating in an asteroid field. Throughout the game you must solve puzzles, shoot the correct coloured orbs and open doors to progress. You do this at the same time as avoiding the robots and lasers, and the story goes from there. The later into the game you get, the more surprises revealed to you, but like Riversong once said, spoilers. And the game is riddled with them. I mean, it even uses the Daleks and the Cybermen in various loading screens. The game was part of a £10 million venture by Nintendo and the BBC to produce games for the Wii and the DS. They also produced a Wiimote shaped in the shape of the Doctor's Sonic, and of course, here's mine. Upon playing the game, you soon realise that this isn't as good as it could have been. The control method is a typical of the over-the-shoulder adventure game. It's sometimes hard to get Amy or the Doctor in the right place or facing the correct way. The puzzles get a bit repetitive and they all involve you sneaking around the ship collecting the correct coloured orbs to shoot at the balls to progress. The door unlocking sequences are a break, but even these get a bit boring after a while. The graphics, although not stretching the Wii to its limitations, are not amazing, but you can tell who everyone's supposed to be. And if you class it as a kids game, then I suppose it's just passable. The reviewers of the time absolutely slated this game, with the Metro newspaper giving it 1 out of 10, calling it awful, and Digital Spy saying it is poorly designed and incredibly frustrating to play. Now I personally think they're being a bit unkind. I mean, the game has its faults, but if you go into it with your eyes open, you can get some good hours out of it. The story is well put together, and it does intertwine with the DS game as well, although it's predictable, and to be fair, there is a lot of that in the real show as well, and there's a lot of worst episodes that have got plots worse than this. Anyone remember the evil Bertie Bassett character from Sylvester McCoy's time? Overall the game is enjoyable, however we are still crying out for a true Doctor Who game. I'm sure given the new generations of consoles, someone out there can produce a game with all the Doctors and supporting baddies. I mean, it can't be that hard to reverse the polarities. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time on Noob Game Reviews.